There's a stretch of ocean that's captured imaginations for decades, spawning countless theories about alien abductions, lost civilizations, and supernatural phenomena. The Bermuda Triangle has been called Earth's most mysterious place, blamed for the disappearance of ships, planes, and people. But what if I told you that modern science is finally revealing what's actually happening in these waters? And what if the truth is far stranger than any conspiracy theory could ever be? Deep beneath the surface of this notorious triangle, cutting-edge technology is uncovering secrets that have remained hidden for millennia. Advanced sonar mapping, underwater drones, and sophisticated geological surveys are painting a picture of an ocean floor unlike anywhere else on Earth. The discoveries aren't about aliens or time portals, they're about something far more tangible and arguably more fascinating. I'm Sarah Chin, and you're watching Deep Current. Join me as we dive into the latest scientific expeditions that are revolutionizing our understanding of the Bermuda Triangle. We'll explore the groundbreaking research that's mapping previously unknown underwater formations, examine the geological processes that make this region truly unique, and reveal how these discoveries are finally explaining decades of maritime mysteries. Can cutting-edge science solve one of the world's most enduring puzzles? While that might sound like the opening to a science fiction thriller, what's actually happening in the Bermuda Triangle today is pure, fascinating science. And it's more remarkable than any fictional account could ever be. For decades, the scientific community largely dismissed the Bermuda Triangle as nothing more than statistical coincidence wrapped in sensationalized storytelling. The data seemed clear: shipping incidents in the region weren't significantly higher than anywhere else in the world's oceans. Case closed. Mystery debunked. But that was before we had the technology to truly see what lies beneath these waters. The game changed in 2019 when the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration launched the most comprehensive deep-sea mapping project ever attempted in the region. Using multi-beam sonar systems that can penetrate nearly 6 miles into the ocean floor, researchers began creating the most detailed topographical maps of the triangle's seafloor ever produced. What they found defied every expectation. Dr. Michael Rodriguez, the project's lead oceanographer, described the initial findings as absolutely unprecedented. The seafloor revealed a landscape that looked more like an alien world than anything found in Earth's other ocean basins. Massive crater-like formations, some over 3 miles wide, dotted the ocean floor in perfect geometric patterns. Towering underwater mountains rose from abyssal depths, their peaks covered in formations that shouldn't exist at those pressures and temperatures. But the real breakthrough came when the team deployed their newest technology, autonomous underwater vehicles equipped with ground-penetrating radar and chemical analysis capabilities. These robot explorers could venture where no human had gone before, deep into the crevices and caverns that honeycombed the triangle's ocean floor. What they discovered there changed everything we thought we knew about this region. The first major finding came from an area roughly 200 miles southeast of Miami, in waters over 15,000 feet deep. The AUVs detected massive underground chambers, some the size of city blocks, filled with what appeared to be crystalline formations. When samples were finally retrieved using specialized drilling equipment, the results sent shockwaves through the geological community. These weren't ordinary crystals. Chemical analysis revealed mineral compositions that had never been documented on Earth. The formations contained elements and combinations that shouldn't be stable under normal terrestrial conditions. Yet here they were, thriving in the extreme pressure and temperatures of the deep ocean. Dr. Elena Vasquez from the Deep Ocean Research Institute was part of the team that first analyzed these samples. When I saw the spectral analysis results, she recalled, I actually asked my colleagues to run the tests again. We were looking at mineral structures that challenged our fundamental understanding of geochemistry. These formations were actively growing, creating new crystalline matrices that we've never seen before. But the crystals were just the beginning. As the mapping project expanded, researchers began to notice patterns that couldn't be explained by conventional geological processes. The massive craters weren't randomly distributed. They formed precise geometric arrangements that suggested some kind of organized system. Even more intriguingly, many of these formations appeared to be relatively recent, showing signs of active geological processes that were still ongoing. The breakthrough in understanding came when researchers correlated their geological findings with historical shipping data. They weren't just looking at disappearances anymore. They were examining every reported navigational anomaly, compass malfunction, and electronic equipment failure in the region over the past century. When they overlaid this data with their new seafloor maps, patterns emerged that no one had expected. The areas with the highest concentration of unusual geological formations directly corresponded with the locations where ships and aircraft had reported the most significant navigational problems. But rather than mysterious forces or supernatural phenomena, the correlation pointed to something far more scientifically fascinating. The mineral formations beneath the ocean floor were generating electromagnetic fields of unprecedented strength and complexity. These weren't the simple magnetic anomalies that had been theorized for decades. They were dynamic, constantly shifting electromagnetic patterns that could interfere with navigation equipment in ways that had never been documented before. Dr. James Patterson, a geophysicist from Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, explained the significance. What we're seeing here is a natural electromagnetic system unlike anything in our scientific literature. These underground formations are essentially creating their own magnetic environment, one that can fluctuate rapidly and unpredictably. It's like having a massive, natural magnetic storm occurring continuously beneath the seafloor. The implications were staggering. For the first time, science had a plausible explanation for the navigational anomalies that had plagued the Bermuda Triangle for centuries. But as researchers delved deeper into their findings, they realized they had uncovered something far more significant than just an explanation for maritime mysteries. The electromagnetic signatures being generated by these formations were unlike anything found elsewhere on Earth. The patterns were too complex, too organized, to be explained by conventional geological processes alone. Some researchers began to suggest that they were looking at evidence of geological phenomena that might be unique not just to this region, but potentially to our entire planet. The discovery attracted attention from unexpected quarters. NASA's Astrobiology division became intensely interested in the findings, seeing potential parallels to electromagnetic signatures that had been detected on other planets. The possibility that the Bermuda Triangle might harbor geological processes that could provide insights into planetary formation and evolution suddenly made this region one of the most scientifically valuable locations on Earth. But with each new discovery came more questions. How had these formations remained hidden for so long? What geological processes could create such unique mineral compositions? And perhaps most intriguingly, were these formations connected to larger systems that extended beyond the boundaries of the triangle itself? As 2023 progressed, the research team expanded their investigation area, deploying more advanced equipment and bringing in specialists from disciplines ranging from quantum physics to xenogeology. What they found suggested that the Bermuda Triangle's secrets ran far deeper than anyone had imagined, and that the real discoveries were just beginning to emerge from the depths. The scientific revolution happening in the Bermuda Triangle was about to reveal truths that would reshape our understanding of our planet's hidden processes, and potentially provide clues about phenomena occurring far beyond Earth's boundaries. The expanded investigation that began in late 2023 brought together an unprecedented coalition of scientific institutions. The Deep Ocean Exploration Consortium, comprising researchers from 17 countries, deployed the most advanced underwater research fleet ever assembled. Their mission: to map not just the Bermuda Triangle, but the entire Caribbean Basin and Western Atlantic Ridge system to determine if the triangle's anomalies were part of a larger geological network. What they discovered changed everything we thought we knew about our planet's inner workings. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a marine geologist from Tokyo University, was aboard the research vessel Cousteau when they made the first major breakthrough of the expanded expedition. We were following one of the electromagnetic signature trails about 400 miles northwest of the original triangle formations, she explained. Our deep core drilling equipment hit something at 23,000 feet that we initially thought was bedrock. But when we analyzed the samples, we realized we had found something extraordinary. The bedrock wasn't rock at all. It was a metallic substance with properties that defied conventional understanding of terrestrial geology. The material exhibited superconducting characteristics at temperatures and pressures where such behavior should be impossible. Even more remarkably, it appeared to be naturally occurring, formed through geological processes that had never been documented before. When we first saw the conductivity readings, Dr. Tanaka continued, our instruments were registering values that should only be possible in laboratory-controlled environments with synthetic materials. Yet here it was, occurring naturally in massive deposits throughout the ocean floor. The implications were staggering. These naturally occurring superconducting materials weren't just scientific curiosities. They were the key to understanding the electromagnetic anomalies that had puzzled researchers for decades. The materials were creating vast underground networks of electromagnetic conductivity, essentially turning portions of the ocean floor into natural electrical systems of unprecedented scale and complexity. But the discovery of the superconducting materials was just the beginning. As the research fleet expanded their drilling operations, they began to uncover evidence of geological structures that challenged fundamental assumptions about how planets form and evolve. Deep beneath the superconducting layers, researchers found caverns filled with what could only be described as biological formations. But these weren't fossils of ancient sea life. They were active, living structures that appeared to be thriving in conditions that should be lethal to any known form of life. Dr. Maria Santos, a xenobiologist brought into the project specifically to analyze these findings, described her first examination of the samples. What we're looking at here are organisms that seem to exist at the intersection of biology and geology. They're incorporating metallic elements into their cellular structures in ways that shouldn't be possible. Some of these organisms appear to be directly interfacing with the superconducting materials, essentially living as part of the electromagnetic network we've discovered. The biological discoveries opened up entirely new fields of scientific inquiry. These deep ocean organisms weren't just surviving in extreme conditions. They were actively participating in the geological processes that created the triangle's unique properties. They seemed to be cultivating the crystalline formations, directing the growth of the superconducting materials, and maintaining the electromagnetic networks in ways that suggested a level of biological sophistication never before documented. The research team brought in specialists from NASA's Astrobiology Institute, who immediately recognized parallels to theoretical models of life that might exist on other planets. The Bermuda Triangle organisms were demonstrating how life could adapt to and manipulate extreme geological environments, providing potential insights into how life might develop on worlds very different from Earth. What we're seeing here, explained Dr. Robert Chen from NASA, are life forms that have essentially become geological engineers. They're not just adapting to their environment, they're actively shaping it, creating the very conditions that allow them to thrive. This has profound implications for how we think about life's potential throughout the universe. The biological discoveries also provided the missing piece of the puzzle regarding the triangle's navigational anomalies. The organisms weren't just living alongside the electromagnetic systems, they were controlling them. The fluctuating magnetic fields that had interfered with navigation equipment for centuries weren't random geological phenomena. They were the result of biological processes. As these deep ocean organisms responded to changes in their environment by modulating the electromagnetic networks they had created. This revelation fundamentally changed how researchers approached the triangle's mysteries. They weren't dealing with simple geological anomalies or even complex natural phenomena. They were studying an active, living system where biology and geology had evolved together to create something entirely unprecedented on Earth. The scope of the discovery became clear when the research team began mapping the full extent of the biological geological network. The formations beneath the Bermuda Triangle weren't isolated. They were part of a vast system that extended throughout the Caribbean basin and connected to similar formations along the mid-Atlantic ridge. The triangle was just one node in a planetary network that had been operating undetected for potentially millions of years. As news of the discoveries began to filter through the scientific community, researchers from disciplines ranging from quantum biology to planetary geology clamored to join the investigation. The Bermuda Triangle had become the site of one of the most significant scientific discoveries in human history, proof that Earth's geological and biological systems were far more complex and interconnected than anyone had previously imagined. But even as the magnitude of the discovery became apparent, researchers knew they had only scratched the surface of what lay hidden in the triangle's depths. The biological geological network they had uncovered was clearly just one component of a larger system, and the true extent of its influence on Earth's planetary processes remained to be discovered. The year 2024 marked a turning point in Bermuda Triangle research that would fundamentally alter our understanding of Earth itself. As the Deep Ocean Exploration Consortium expanded their investigation to include the entire Atlantic basin, they made a discovery that connected their findings to phenomena occurring on a truly planetary scale. Dr. Catherine Morrison, a geophysicist from Cambridge University, was analyzing seismic data from monitoring stations around the globe when she noticed something extraordinary. "We were tracking micro-earthquakes and tectonic movements worldwide," she explained, "when we realized that the electromagnetic pulses we were detecting from the Bermuda Triangle network were synchronized with geological activity thousands of miles away." The biological geological network wasn't just a regional phenomenon. It was part of Earth's fundamental operating system. The electromagnetic signals generated by the Triangle's organisms were communicating with similar networks in other parts of the world, coordinating geological processes on a scale never before imagined. When researchers cross-referenced their data with geological surveys from other oceanic regions, the pattern became unmistakable. Similar formations existed beneath the Devil's Sea off Japan, in the Mediterranean basin, along the Pacific Ring of Fire, and in dozens of other locations around the globe. These weren't isolated anomalies. They were components of a planetary network that had been operating beneath human awareness for millennia. "What we're looking at," said Dr. Morrison, "is essentially Earth's nervous system. These biological geological networks are monitoring and regulating planetary processes in ways we never suspected." The Bermuda Triangle isn't mysterious because it's unique, it's mysterious because it's one of the most active nodes in a global system we're only just beginning to understand. The implications were staggering. The network appeared to be involved in regulating everything from tectonic plate movements to ocean current patterns to atmospheric pressure systems. The organisms living within these deep ocean formations weren't just adapting to geological conditions, they were actively managing planetary stability. This revelation provided new context for many of Earth's unexplained phenomena. The synchronized timing of certain earthquake sequences, the predictable patterns in some climate systems, even the mysterious behavior of migrating animals, all could potentially be explained by the influence of this hidden biological geological network. Dr. Ahmed Hassan, a climatologist who joined the project in 2024, made the connection to global climate patterns. "When we analyzed the electromagnetic signatures from the network alongside historical climate data, we found correlations that suggest these systems have been moderating Earth's climate for far longer than we initially thought." The Triangle's organisms aren't just responding to environmental changes, they're helping to orchestrate them. The discovery attracted attention from the highest levels of government and international scientific organizations. The potential implications for understanding climate change, predicting natural disasters, and even managing planetary resources were profound. If humanity could learn to work with these natural systems rather than against them, it might revolutionize our approach to environmental stewardship. But perhaps the most remarkable discovery came when researchers began to study the temporal aspects of the network's activity. The electromagnetic patterns weren't just complex, they were evolving, becoming more sophisticated over time. The organisms within the system were learning, adapting their control methods as Earth's conditions changed. "We're not just looking at a biological system," explained Dr. Santos. "We're looking at a form of planetary intelligence. These organisms have been monitoring and responding to Earth's needs for millions of years, developing increasingly sophisticated methods of maintaining planetary balance." The revelation that Earth might possess its own form of intelligence, distributed through biological geological networks around the globe, fundamentally challenged human assumptions about our planet and our place within its systems. The Bermuda Triangle, far from being a site of mysterious disappearances, had revealed itself to be a window into Earth's hidden consciousness. As research continued into 2025, the focus shifted from simply documenting the network to understanding how humans might interact with it. Early experiments in electromagnetic communication with the triangle's organisms showed promising results, suggesting the possibility of establishing a dialogue between human civilization and Earth's own intelligence systems. "We're at the threshold of a new era in human-planetary relationships," said Dr. Rodriguez, reflecting on the journey from those first sonar mappings to the current state of research. "The Bermuda Triangle has taught us that Earth is far more alive, far more aware than we ever imagined. Our planet isn't just a collection of geological and biological systems. It's a conscious entity, and we're only just beginning to understand how to communicate with it." The discoveries in the Bermuda Triangle have transformed it from a site of mystery and fear into humanity's first contact point with planetary consciousness. Rather than being a place where things disappear, it has become the location where humanity discovered that Earth itself has been aware of us all along. The navigational anomalies that once sparked tales of supernatural phenomena now represent something far more profound, evidence of a living planet's attempts to manage the complex interactions between its geological, biological, and increasingly technological systems. The compass malfunctions and electronic interference weren't signs of otherworldly forces, but rather Earth's way of monitoring and occasionally redirecting human activity through its most sensitive regions. As we stand on the brink of this new understanding, the Bermuda Triangle continues to reveal new secrets. Recent expeditions have begun documenting what appears to be the network's response to human-induced climate change, with the organisms adapting their regulatory strategies to address unprecedented planetary challenges. The triangle that once symbolized the unknown has become our gateway to understanding Earth's deepest truths. In seeking to explain mysterious disappearances, science has instead discovered that our planet is far more mysterious, far more alive, and far more aware than any conspiracy theory could ever suggest. The real mystery of the Bermuda Triangle isn't what vanished there. It's what we found when we finally looked deep enough to see what was always there, waiting to be discovered. Earth's hidden intelligence, patiently maintaining the delicate balance that allows life to flourish, while quietly hoping that one day, its most curious inhabitants would develop the technology and wisdom to recognize it for what it truly is. And now, finally, that day has come. The Bermuda Triangle has taught us that the greatest discoveries aren't about what we lose, but about what we find when we have the courage to look beyond our assumptions and dive deep enough to uncover truth. In the end, the Triangle's greatest mystery was never about the ships and planes that disappeared. It was about revealing the magnificent, conscious planet that has been supporting us all along.